Hey, welcome to the video. Like the title says, here I'm going to show you how carbs are a lie and how they're designed to make us fat, to keep us sick, to keep us addicted to food. There's no other reason for that nickname carbs but to cause confusion. If they would call carbs sugars like they are, it would be simple. You look at a product, you look at an item, you count the amount of sugar, and then you make a decision. But by hiding behind the term carbs, food companies are able to push a ton of junk to people saying carbs are essentials. Well, carbs are not essential. And if we try to look at the definition of carbs, we have so many different variations, explanations. Nobody can pinpoint the exact definition of carbs because it's a nickname, it's made up, it's not real. If you look at a protein, protein breaks down into amino acids essential for the body. Fats are broken down into fatty acids, which are essential for the human body. Carbs are sugars, starches, and fiber broken down into glucose that the body uses for energy. It's not essential. The body can make its own glucose if there's none available. If there's no glucose eaten, the body will make its own glucose. So the body needs glucose, but the body does not need to eat glucose. So it's not an essential nutrient. So here there's a few definitions that say it's an essential nutrient. It's part of one of our three food groups. Is the carb in a pasta the same as a carb in a vegetable and the same as a carb in candy? Is that what they're saying? Here they have one I kind of, it's misleading. Carbohydrate definition: any class of organic compounds. Then they go into some definitions I can't understand. Found in certain kinds of food that provide you with energy. Organic compounds that occurs in living tissues or food that can be broken down into energy. Here. Find out what carbs do, how many carbs you should eat every day. Carbs, definition: one of several substances such as sugar, starches that provide body with energy. Saccharides, basically sugars, meaning sugar. But three types of carbohydrates, monosaccharides and all that. So there's many definitions, and it boils down to sugar. Carbs are broken down by the body to be used as sugar. So it's not an essential food. It's not one of the three major food groups. It's not an essential nutrient. Carbs are basically sugar. Now let's go to my favorite website. It's called Chronometer. And here what I've done is I've added the food from sugars, table sugar, all the way down to mashed potatoes. And we'll go through the nutrition value of each. So if we start with, I put 100 grams for each. So we have the same amount of mass of food, and we can see what's in that. So 100 grams of sugar, if we look at the food label on it, you'll see here in the total carbs, they have 100 grams of total carbs and 99.8 grams of sugar in table sugar. So sugar is both a sugar and a carb 100% or 99.8%. So is it 99.8% bad for you, the sugar part, or is it 100% good for you because it's 100% grams of carbs? People are saying carbs are good for you, but it's sugar, right? So now let's go to another food, candy cane. So that's candy made basically from sugar. And if we look at that one, 98 grams of carbs and 62.9 grams of sugar. So there's 36 grams of something out of 100 grams that is not sugar. But the recipe for candy cane is sugar, molasses, and syrups and food coloring. How does molasses, syrups, and sugar magically turn right now into 30% or 30 grams of good carbs, right? Because they say, well, it's different. It's not different. All carbs get broken down into sugar. Here's honey. Honey, it's good for you, I hear. It's great for you. It's natural. 100 grams of honey is 82.4 grams of carbs or 82.1 grams of pure sugar. Honey is sugar and it's carbs. So again, why put the nickname carbs when it should be simply sugar? That's it. If you want to take out the fiber, because fiber cannot be digested, take out the fiber. But don't start with 82 grams of carbohydrates, take out the 2 grams of fiber, and then make a different number. All of a sudden, it's 82.4 grams of sugar. That's it. Now let's take the next one, maple syrup. You see where I'm going with that. 67 grams of carbs, 60.5 grams of sugar. Now, we're in the sugary stuff. And you're thinking, well, I'm not feeding my kids, sugary stuff. But we're doing cereal, or let's say a donut here. That's my favorite here. You just selected donut. So people are saying that some carbs are good. If you take out the sugar, whatever is left is good for you. So here in a Krispy Kreme donut, 100 grams of Krispy Kreme donut, there's 20 grams of sugar, but then somehow there's 44.9 grams of carbs. So there's 20 grams of something in a Krispy Kreme donut that's good for us. That's a good carb in a Krispy Kreme donut. I'd love to see that carb. So it's a lie. It's Little Debbie brownie cake. Same thing in a brownie. There's nothing good in a brownie. Every single parent agrees with that. But if we look here, it's 68 grams of carbs and only 37 grams of sugar. What's the 30 grams of carbs in a chocolate sugar brownie? What's the good part in there? Where's the good carb? There's no such thing. Now let's take Yoplait. We give that to our kids. Again, it's 17 grams of carbs, 11.6 grams of sugar. We're overdosing our kids with sugar by thinking we're doing the right thing by giving them Yoplait. Lucky Charms, 37 grams of carbs, 81 grams of carbs, 37 grams of sugar into 100 grams of carbs of Lucky Charms. You say, well, I don't give my kids, Lucky Charms. I give them the Honey Nut Cheerios, the good one. It's the exact same thing. Cheerios, Honey Nut Cheerios, and Lucky Charms, exact same thing. If you're gonna eat sugar, might as well enjoy it, like they say. Or if you're eating Special K, it's exactly the same thing. 72 grams of carbs, 12 grams of sugar. It's sugar. Now, you're saying, well, I don't eat that. We can go through the whole list. 46 grams of carbs in white bread, but I don't eat white bread. Whole wheat flour, same thing. 72 grams of carbs in whole wheat flour. I just showed you there's no good carb. Not because it's not whole wheat flour, it's sugar. It's honey, it's sugar, it's white flour, it's sugar. And we can go down to white rice. 28 grams of carbs in white rice in 100 grams. So it's less. It's not meant to be a sweet food. Same thing with mashed potatoes. 17 grams of carbs in mashed potatoes. You're eating mashed potatoes, it's a carby food. That's why it's the lie. They hide behind the carbs. They're having you look the other way, making sure that you get confused. You're thinking carbs are not sugar. It's not the same thing. It's good for you. Now, don't tell me about fruits. Don't tell me that if all you ate was fruits and vegetables, you would not be overweight. I would not have been overweight. I was huge because I was eating what my doctor was telling me. He was telling me to eat whole wheat, pasta, bread, grains, oatmeal, yogurt. He was telling me to do that. He was telling me to get fat, stay addicted to carbs. Once I stopped, I cut the rope. I got unaddicted to sugar. Weight loss was easy. No more hunger, no more cravings, no more anything. I didn't think about food anymore. The years before that, I was eating that crap food based on what everybody was telling me, based on what my doctor was telling me. And I was fat. I was addicted to carbs. Now, if you want to cut the cord, get rid of carbs, get rid of the addiction, and you need help, I have a program. Just visit onemonthnocarbs.com and